Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to our show. I'm your host, John Harcar, and I'm here today with Andora Marshall. And what we're going to talk about, besides her journey in business and in real estate, which I'm excited to talk about that as well, but we're also going to talk about midterm rentals. She has a passion for midterm rentals, and she's also going to talk about how to properly do your due diligence vetting your tenants. We all know how important that is. Remember, guys, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, all real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their business. We're providing the tools, the resources in the community to help you level up and grow your business, which in turn helps you live the life that you've always dreamed of. So Andora, welcome to our show.
Thank you, John, for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about, which I think is going to be a few different topics, but from our pre-call. But I like the whole midterm thing. That's something that I have interest in as well. I've kind of got over the short-term part. But before we get into the weeds on all that, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about you, how you got into business and real estate and what brought you to today?
Okay, great. So I found you on Facebook and I thought, you know what, this is a great opportunity to share information. And as we talked, no one person knows everything. And so if we all kind of hang together and like-minded real estate investors and share our knowledge, just think how much we can learn from each other. So my real estate journey began in 1989. I inherited a single family home in a college town, and my siblings and myself managed it, and it was challenging. Mm-hmm. And so that was my first take of actually renting out rooms to college students. And I think now it's been coined, shared housing?
Co-housing, pad split. There's probably a couple different names. Student housing. There's a couple different names for it by now.
Yeah, sure. But back then it wasn't that. And there wasn't much really to kind of find, how do you find how to do these types of things? So we just kind of dive right into it and made many, many mistakes, So, and then once we did that for a few years, we decided maybe it was best to sell that particular property because we lived about an hour and a half from it. And then I started buying single family homes right next door to where I lived at in a small town called Carroll, Ohio.
Okay.
So I would buy the worst house on the block and start literally gut it and start fixing it up. And this is when house prices were in the early 90s, much cheaper then. Mm-hmm. So I kind of started with that. And then single family homes were kind of my thing for a long time. And then I thought, I would love to have a beach house. Let me do a short-term rental. So I went to St. Petersburg, Florida, found a great community. And again, the worst condo in the actual development, and completely gutted it and started doing that. And then from there, very quickly, I'll say during the pandemic is when I started thinking about, I need to find other people who are like-minded that can help me grow. So
Right.
that's kind of when I started buying like duplex.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Commercial offices and midterms.
Nice. Very nice. If you've ever watched any of my podcasts, I like to go backwards, right? I like to find out the origin. I think there's a lot in that type of story. So before you inherited a property, was there anybody in your life that was an influence in real estate? Maybe an uncle, a grandfather, a father that was a landlord, flipper, whatever.
Yes, that's funny. He didn't actually influence me that much, but I had a uncle who owned a lot of real estate around Ohio State University. So I'm sure you've heard of the Ohio State University.
The Ohio State University.
The Ohio State, yes. So
we have one of your coaches. I'm a Raider fan, and we have Chip Kelly now as our coach. So
okay,
yeah,
nice. So yes, he owned a lot of apartment complexes and single family homes. And again, like I said, I'm still working my full-time job. He and I actually worked together, but he never really encouraged me. He's like, well, I don't know if a woman can do this type of work. So, and he was old school,
But that still is a seed. It's a subconscious seed that was planted. You had exposure to it.
Correct. Yeah. Well, somewhat exposure.
Somewhat.
But more importantly, I had a mother and a father who said, hey, you can do anything you put your mind to as long as you do it.
That's awesome.
You just, and it's knowing the right people, right? So I think it's that mindset. If you think you can't, then you can't. If you think you can, you can.
Yeah. It's also not how, but who. Who can he help to figure things? So you guys got this rental, and you mentioned many mistakes. I know what mistakes I've made in the past. What mistakes did you make?
Well, when you're doing like shared housing, there has to be rules, expectations set, a good contract, good vetting of tenants. Obviously a lot of times college students at 18 do not have credit, right? It's learning, we need a co-signer. We need to find someone to mow the grass on a weekly basis. We need to set guidelines that strictly state these are the rules of shared housing. No parties, there's just so many things you can cover.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have processes in place, right? And expectations, and everybody has to understand that to make it work well. But right. The contract, as you and I both know, is the Bible to that property, more or less.
Yep. You're in, I think you said IT and cybersecurity. Where did you learn these things of leases and flipping and rehabbing properties? And how did you learn? I mean, YouTube, is that kind of you? Was that your teacher?
I would say, like, as far as technology, I have an IT degree and I'm in cybersecurity and IT. So I've always had a natural interest, even back in the 80s and 90s, of computers.
Right.
So just realizing, making the technology work for you. And I love to read, so I'll buy a lot of books off of Amazon. So that, and then also trying to pick my uncle's brain and trying to say, hey, what do you do for this? What do you do for that?
Okay. So you had a resource to go to.
Somewhat. I tried to join many years ago the local AREA in Columbus, Ohio, and what I found, it was pretty much very male dominated, and it was kind of hard. Now it's from the early 90s, and it was hard to kind of break into that. To be honest with you, so it was really just again reading and talking to other. And then what I found is when I spoke to other landlords that were local, they didn't want to share their contractors because the mindset was, if I give you my contractor when I need him or her, they're not going to be available.
Won't be available.
Yeah. There was this, I can't, information is power, and I'm not going to give you my power. You're my competitor, perhaps. Right.
So how did you overcome that? What did you do?
I think just basically working with them and then sharing my contacts. Hey,
if you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
I used this particular guy for my basement because many of the houses that I was buying in Carroll were built in the mid 1800s. I mean, I literally bought a log cabin for $20,000 in the 90s.
Wow.
Gutted the entire thing, had it gutted, and did some of the work myself. Now, when I say some of the work myself, let me be clear. I did not do plumbing. I did not do electrical wiring, and putting heating, cooling. All that stuff had to be done.
Yeah.
But I was great at the, just tearing things apart and there was like plaster and horsehair into the walls. I mean, I can tear up things really great.
So you're great at demo.
Oh, I'm great at demo, and it's a great stress reliever, right?
It is.
It's amazing what you can do.
It is. We had a mastermind in Salt Lake, and we went to one night we went to a smash room.
Oh, nice.
Where you just break stuff. Yeah.
Oh.
So that's the same kind of thing, just perfect release. Well, that's so awesome. So as you grew and you grew and you grew, you're working a full-time job.
That's correct. 40 hours plus. And I'm also heavily involved in many of my community. I'm like on 2 boards for HOA, one in the subdivision which I live in, and then where I own condos and offices, I'm on that particular board. And I'm also locally on the Pickerington Planning and Zoning. I try to tune into as much as I can with real estate. That's huge. But I have a passion.
No, but I just say, but the normal thing people say, but I have a full-time job. I don't have time to do any of this. How are you doing this at a high level?
We'll do what we want to do, right? So it just really depends. We all do what we want.
Yep. Okay.
And we all have the same hours and days of the week. It's really what you want to do and where you want to input your time.
Are there any like mindset pieces or mindset tools or things that help you kind of keep focused on those important things for your business, and then be able to put your life on this? Is there something that you use to help you kind of wrangle it all in?
Absolutely. I talked a little bit about this, but I said your network is your net worth. It's so important. Like, if I could stress anything from this call, is getting involved with like-minded real estate investors. That's the keys to the kingdom right there, is finding out how do they do things. Have you encountered this problem? Who is your contractor? What did you do with this? I mean, you have to have a great network, like-minded people who are in real estate, and you need to keep with that education because it continually changes. So that, I would say, is the primary thing, is getting involved in your local RIA groups and masterminds. That's where you learn the most.
Yep. No, I 100% agree. So let's talk a little bit about the midterm rentals. Why did you want to transition, from, your short terms? I know you said you're moving some to midterms or have moved some. Why are you making that switch?
So I'm making the switch from, I only had the one short term in St. Petersburg, Florida, but there was so many rules and regulations when I bought in that complex. You could rent by the week, and then they changed it that you had to rent by the month. So I didn't realize I was doing midterm even from like 2014 to 2021.
Right.
I didn't know that what it was coined because you couldn't rent to more than one guest. Well, you can imagine, it's Florida, it's hot. The only time people want to go to Florida, in my mind, is January through April, or the key months, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that darn condo would sit pretty much vacant from like May to like August, and so
right.
I just thought, and it would be a lot of work. I mean, it's constant turnover, and you got people in and out of your condo or your home, and they're unfortunately, things happen, things break when you have multiple people. You've got to work with cleaners and get the cleaners over there. And I feel like with the midterm, you are renting to a guest 30 days or greater. And those people are typically coming into the community because they're working, right?
Right.
Working people don't have oftentimes, a lot of times, to have wild parties at, and so forth. I'm just
Sure.
saying, I'm sure that
No,
they
you're
can't.
100%. 100%.
But you've got your digital nomads.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
You've got
Traveling nurses.
Yes, traveling nurses. You've got anesthesiologists that are coming in, especially in Columbus, Ohio. You've got people that are doing medical interns, and they need to do some work at Ohio State. We're downtown.
Mm-hmm.
So my particular condo appeals to everyone. And I was very strategic on what I chose. And let me repeat that. I was very strategic because I don't want another full-time job. So I chose a condo because I don't want to have to maintain the outside. I only want to maintain the four walls. I also chose a condo that's in a high rise. So once you walk in the door, it's one level. It appeals to everybody, right? Whether you're old, you're young, nobody has to worry about steps.
Yep.
I've got elevators in this particular location. I have a gym. I have 24/7 concierge service, security right at the front desk. I've got free parking. I've got a park across the street, a beautiful metropolitan park. So location.
Have you heard
that before? I'm sure.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Well,
And
no, and that's true because but by not ignoring those things, you're going to be able to better serve specific customers, that people that you want, people that will appreciate that and in turn possibly stay longer, come back, whatever.
Absolutely. And there are people that where this is located, maybe somebody retired and moved to, I have a couple now that come from Phoenix, Arizona. They used to live locally and they want to come back and visit their grandkids for a month, and they want to be involved. Or I've got somebody coming into the Columbus, Ohio area that's working for Amazon or Google, and they are going to be here for 6 months.
Right.
Or I have somebody who had a fire at their house locally and they need a place to stay. Or they're getting divorced. They can't live with their significant other and they need a place. So I'll take everybody. And it's,
no discretion here. That's all good. Or no, you know what I mean. So
Yes.
Let me ask you this. When you look at people trying to do short-term, midterm, long-term, whatever it might be, like what are some of the mistakes you're seeing people making when they're trying to build this business model?
I think be aware of who your target audience is. That's business 101. Who when I buy this property, look at the numbers. If the numbers don't make sense, you don't buy. And what I mean by that, if your property taxes, your insurance, what is it going to cost to furnish this place? Can you really get that rent? Do your due diligence and make sure that you can afford all those things, your mortgage payment and whatever. And do you have the time to to do the things that you need to do if you're going to self-manage?
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that you can vet the candidates, because I use Furnish Finder, which I love. And people are like, oh, I don't like Furnish Finder. If you don't work the leads, and you'll know if you go to Furnish Finder what I'm speaking of. If you don't work the leads, then it won't work for you. You have to do a little bit of work, and you have to have a one-pager marketing advertisement, if you will, of your property.
Mm-hmm.
And then also advertise on Airbnb and Zillow. And then you also make sure that you build your own little CRM, your customer relationship management database. When you have previous guests, get that cell phone number, their telephone number, their email, collect as much information so you're not as dependent upon your Airbnb. I keep hearing people complain about that.
Yeah.
And it's a worry, right?
Yeah. If you keep your database and you keep it up to date, I mean, you put them on a nice automation. I mean, it's as simple as just keep in touch. You know what I mean?
Yes. And building those relationships when people are working at the Ohio State or whatever, say, hey, do you know anybody else who might be interested when you leave?
Exactly.
And then offering like, hey, I'd love to, if you can bring me somebody that works and they pass the tenant screen and everything, I would love to send you a $50 gift certificate.
Yeah, or $50 off your next rental. I don't know, whatever it might be. But no, yeah, incentive. That's awesome.
Yeah. Or an Amazon. Who can't use Amazon gift card for 50? Who can't find something on Amazon that they love, right?
Exactly, for sure. So what is your business? Where are your rentals? Are they all in downtown Ohio or in Ohio?
They are now. Everything's in Central Ohio, and the reason for that, if they're here, I have a buy box. So I like to, from where I live, I like it to be 30 minutes to any of these locations. That way, I have quality control. If I hire a contractor to do something, I can go and see, is he doing what he said he's going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a whole nother conversation when you're hiring contractors, setting those expectations. So I like to be fair, like within 30 minutes. So I won't buy anything anymore that's out of my buy box, unless it's some incredible deal, you know?
And just in case there are people that are listening that are in your area, what is your buy box?
I would say within just Central Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. I'm looking now potentially at apartment complexes, maybe no more than 20, or even like triplex, quad. I'm really wanting to kind of get into that space. I actually am a facilitator in Corey, community real estate entrepreneurs, where I volunteer for our commercial and apartment focus group. And so we talk about deals and how to look at deals and what makes sense. So again, I'm more focused on Central Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, because it's booming.
Right. Yeah, you said that. Well, that's awesome. Before we go, is there any last advice or any words of wisdom, things you want to tell our audience that, might set them up for success?
Absolutely. You always want to have a good lease in place, right? Again, you want to make sure that your numbers, when you pick the property, you want to figure out if the rents are accurate for whether you're doing long-term, short-term, or midterm. Just because the real estate agent tells you it's so doesn't mean it's so. Do your due diligence. Get out there and look on Zillow, Renometer. Look around to see what the pricing in the area is, and know your limitations. Start building your team. And when I say a team, your plumber, your electrician, start building this Rolodex of people that are on your team and treat them well. If you say you're going to pay somebody when the job's done, pay them when it's done.
Yeah.
Set clear expectations, have processes in place, have a good lease in place, have a good attorney in place. He should be part of your team, because if you ever have to evict somebody, you need that person. Understand, most importantly, your local, fair housing laws,
right?
What you can and can't say, what you should be doing. Know your business. And I talked a little bit about this again, is that you need to join a group of like-minded investors who are handling similar investments. That's really, if I could stress more than anything, that, and then reading, listening to podcasts like this, and staying connected. It's really what it's about.
It's just keeping that information coming in. And yeah, like you said, get with people that are where you are or where you want to go, right? So they're going to help you avoid pitfalls. They're going to help you get there faster than you would do on your own.
Yes.
Andora, thank you. So you came and dropped a ton of knowledge. Guys, I hope you took notes, man. She dropped some good, press rewind, go back, however you do it, go back 10 seconds and listen again. But thank you so much. I really enjoyed this time together, and guys, reach out. Oh, how do people get in touch if they want to maybe work with you at all?
If they would like to reach out, I do have a website, and it's called sagepropertypartners.com. They can send a note in there. That's the best way to get a hold of me, is through that website. Just drop a line or something. I'm always happy to help people. I do not offer any consulting services or anything like that. I just really like to give back.
I love it.
And I like to help people. I don't have any ulterior motive. Like I said, no, I don't have any masterminds. I don't have anything like that. But I love to be a part of stuff like that and help develop and grow and help people learn from my mistakes, because I've made many. Let me tell you.
Awesome. And that's awesome. And I love that heart. And thank you so much for that. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you on the next one. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.